What's good, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. I wanted to mention before getting into today's video that I have recently made an over 28-hour chess endgames course. If you're interested in improving as an endgames player, if you're interested in trying to get into that top 1% of endgames players, plug in the discount code at chess25 on Gumroad. Okay, go down link below, go down the description, plug in the discount code of chess25, and you will receive 30% off on your purchase, no matter how many courses you decide to get, including the chess endgames course. I hope you guys enjoy it, and yeah, let's head over to the video. We're about to be covering the #1 line, the most important line that you can memorize as a pterodactyl defense player, one of the most underrated options for black against the move of d4. A lot of you probably don't even know what the pterodactyl defense is, which if you don't, hey, no judgment here. Okay, it's a very rare opening, very rare option for black. For a very long time, I had no idea what it was, and yeah, it's just not seen all that often. That said, it does great at the professional level. It has a winning percentage for the black side when you're looking at those grandmaster level games. And I think that this can work at the club level very well on top of that. Okay, so this is going to take a lot of your opponents by surprise. If you're thinking about playing the pterodactyl, I promise you your opponent is not seeing it all that often. Again, it's against the move d4. What is the pterodactyl? We're playing g6 and bishop g7. So we're starting out with a modern defense. And with this move, knight c3, again, that's not the only move, right? There's other options that white could play here. But with knight c3, we can play c5. The moment you play c5, you're in a pterodactyl. And we're really going to be taking a look again at the most common moves that we see each and every turn from white, starting out with this move of d5. But before getting into that, I do want to mention that I do have a 4-part series on the theoretical side of the pterodactyl defense, covering the top 4 options that we see in online chess. I will leave links to those down in the description below if you're interested in checking out more pterodactyl defense content following this video. But okay, this move d takes c5. This is what we cover in part 1. Long story short, we take on c3. We're down a pawn, but white, on the other hand, has triple isolated pawns. I mean, I don't know about you, but I would not want to play this as white at all. At all. I mean, this is... Anyways, I'll just stop. I think we all can see why this is not recommended for white. If white plays e3, okay, this is considered the quiet line. Against this, we can take on d4, play knight f6, and we're looking towards castling kingside. Again, I have more content on these options in the description below. And if we see knight f3, which is covered in part 3, we can take on d4 and then play knight c6, doubling up against that knight. And black here has a great game with great hypermodern chess. But the most common move is the best move, which is pawn to d5, in which case we can take on c3, and then we're going to play e5. And again, the most common move here is e4. We have d6, bishop d3, and knight d7. This is such a key idea in the pterodactyl because white at some point is probably going to play f4. At some point, whether it's now or later. I mean, this pawn can't move, can't move, can't move, can't move, can move. But why? This pawn pushing to f4 is very common. And when it does push to f4, we need to be prepared to either take on f4 at some point and then fill in e5, or just have e5 protected. I don't want to take with my d6 pawn. Why would I want to do that? I'd rather take with my knight, right? Because if I take with the d6 pawn, all of a sudden white has a passed pawn on d5 protected by 2 pawns. I would much rather take with my knight so that this pawn isn't passed, number 1, and number 2, so I have a centralized knight. That's great. Now, this move knight to e2 is very common. Here I'm recommending queen to e7. Again, really fortifying that e5 square because that's the main point that white could even think about attacking. And if we see castling kingside, I'm now recommending h5. And the final move of this memorization line, h4. Let's just go through that one more time. Against d4, we are fianchettoing that bishop. We're playing c5. And against d5, we're taking the knight right away. Okay, you don't have to do that. You don't have to. Okay, there is, for example, you know, playing this move of d6, for example. But at the same time, white might play something like queen c2 and bishop d2, and then we're in a whole different game. In my opinion, if we're playing the pterodactyl, we got to go all in. We got to mess up that pawn structure. We got to get an advantage out of this. I do know that we don't have a fianchettoed bishop anymore, and it's very rare that we just give up a bishop for a knight. But what we're doing here is we're locking in weaknesses, specifically this c4 target. is terribly weak for white. And with us locking in our pawns on dark squares, we're kind of okay with not having a dark square bishop. If bishop d3, great, you have an extra bishop, but what's it doing? Not much. And from here, we have knight d7, queen e7, and then we're going to push that pawn all the way down to h4. Now, I do have in part 4, right, some theory coming out of this position that you can go check out. Just a quick summary. I mean, if white takes on e5, great, we take back with the knight. And if something like h3, g5, let's start attacking on the king side of the board. The pterodactyl's dynamic, and if f5, we can take. If you want to take with the pawn, we'll develop our undeveloped knight. And as you can see highlighted here, we have ideas like b6 and bishop a6 that are in play. We have e4 that is an idea. And yeah, I mean, we just have a really fun game here. In fact, a lot of the time you'll see black go king d8, king c7. Kind of crazy, but the whole point of bringing your king to c7 is that it's safe. I know that this is a semi-open file, but what can white do about it? Right? Oftentimes, the moment they play a4, we can play a5, and boom, their pawn just can't move at all. So that's good for us. Now, I do want to say with rook takes f5, don't develop the undeveloped knight. It's not very often I say that, but here if you do that, bishop g5, and now you got a rook and a bishop going after your pinned knight. So in this case, bring your knight from the d file over to f6, and yeah, white could play bishop g5, but then we take the rook. So white has to respond, and now we don't want this happening, right? Let's play knight h5. Knight h5, this prevents the bishop from coming to g5. The bishop can't go to f4. It can go to e3, but we're looking at a lot of great ideas here. h3, if we're able to do it, is awesome. Our knight's very active as well. We could look to bring our knight to h6 or f6 with the idea of getting to g4, and we could put a rook on g8 as well. And this is one of those positions where white's king side can crumble if they don't play great defense. And finally, the best move that white can play is h3. From this point, we can take on f4 because we have prepared both our knight and our queen to cover the very important e5 spot. There's different ways that white can take. Again, more deep theory in that part 4 video. But if knight takes f4, which is white's best move, we can kick that knight around. And the best thing white can do right now is play knight to h5. That's the best thing they can possibly do. If they bring their knight to e2, the knight is awkward, the knight is cramped. We have g4 as an option. We have knight e5 as an option. We are putting a ton of pressure against white on their king side, on their queen side, on their bishop, on their center, you name it. Everything has pressure against it, and this is far from comfortable for white. Now, returning to this move h4, I did find a game online that I thought was very interesting. Hey, if this is your username and you're watching this, props to you. You put a really nice game together playing as black. Now, white here played the move of queen to e1 in this game, and black here is rated over 2,700 on Lichess. So, you know, they're okay. They're pretty good. Here we have e takes f4, the best move by far, right? What does this do? This allows us to play g5 because there's no longer a pawn covering it, and it also allows us to have knight e5 ideas in play. Here we see the move of g5 against bishop e3. The engine likes h3, and then knight to e5 going after those light squares. In the game instead, we see knight e5, f6, very solid, really making that g5 pawn solid. And then we see knight h6, followed by h3. Knight hg4 is played. I do want to mention there's a lot of points in this game, including right now, where knight takes c4 is a good idea. I mean, even here after knight g1, knight takes c4, best move. The whole idea is that white takes, we then capture on e4 with check, and then we take the bishop. a4 weak, c3 weak, d5 weak. Our knight, very solid, very strong. We're up material. We have a better position, better activity, less weaknesses, better king safety, even though our king's in the center of the board. And we're up material, right? And this lasts for quite a few moves. I mean, with the move a5, again, knight takes c4 is the best idea. This keeps going on and on. But what I will say is that black here did find some very nice options. At no point here did black give up a winning game. We have castling queenside, very common idea in the pterodactyl to lock up this side of the board and then castle queenside or go with the king d8, king c7 option we talked about. And if rook a e1, which is what we see in the game here, again, knight takes c4 works, but instead we see some very instructional play for black in terms of improving pieces. Our knight on e5, it really can't get much better. Neither can our knight on g4. Our rook on h8 is greatly placed. Our queen on e7 is doing a solid job right now, eyeing up that pawn on e4. But this bishop could be better. So what do we see here? 1 and 2. And in this position, white resigns. I mean, this is just a really hard spot for white. If white plays queen c2, defending the pawn, white's got to try to defend it somehow, right? Knight takes e3. Thanks for the bishop. And we're forking. And we're still putting pressure on e4. If white plays bishop f3, let's remove the defender and then take. Now, queen takes e4, there's the engine move. I'm a little uncomfortable with that personally, so I'd rather just take with the bishop. But nonetheless, right, a lot of options here in terms of having one game. And if bishop d3, we can remove the defender, take with the bishop, because, I mean, why not, right? Why not give the bishop away instead of the queen? We're going to get their queen either way. The king's in check, the queen's attacked. Just a really nice game there, highlighting some nice pterodactyl ideas, activating those knights, taking kingside expansion with those pawns, castling queenside, you name it. And this is the type of game that a pterodactyl defense player wants to see. Let me know if you want to see more pterodactyl defense content. It's not super common. There's not, a lot of searches for it compared to other openings. However, if you guys, which I appreciate you guys subscribing to this channel, watching through the channel, commenting, I appreciate you guys more than you know. If you guys are interested in more of this, let me know. And I don't mind making more of it because this is a defense that I'm passionate about. And a quick reminder before logging off that until, through the month of September, there is that 30% off discount good for all of my online courses, the Modern Scandinavian, the Ponziani, Knight C3 against the Scandi. We have the Hippo, we got the Czech PIRC, we got the Endgames course, you name it. If you're interested in any of those courses or all of them, plug in the discount code CHESS25 and you will receive 30% off good through the month of September. Appreciate y'all. Wishing you guys a great day, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace. I wanted to finish this video out by giving a big thanks to Walter, Steve, Rob, that's a lot of Robs, Ray, Roger, and the rest of my Patreon community. I appreciate you guys a ton. If you guys haven't checked out the Patreon before, there are some exclusive benefits that you gain by becoming a member, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the next video. Peace.